I never thought I'd have to make a video like this, but since a lot of you guys are asking what happened to the boats, I felt it was only fair for me to come on here and talk to you guys about it. So, the truth is, I still got the boats, guys. What are you thinking? Come on. I didn't get rid of them. Well, I kind of did. So, let's catch up. All jokes aside, let's get everybody up to speed because I'm getting a bunch of comments and DMs on other videos and on Instagram and stuff. If you guys are new here and you haven't seen my channel, over the past year and a half, I've restored a couple of bass boats. It was just kind of something I randomly did, and it all started with the Bass Cat boat. A lot of you guys want to know what happened to the Bass Cat, and then you also want to know what's going on with the Stratos. So the truth is, I sold the Bass Cat. Why? I wasn't a fan of the boat. Personally, Bass Cat as a company, I tried to work with them throughout that whole series, and I couldn't even get them to send me stickers to like replace the logo on the side of the boat. And with my videos getting hundreds of thousands of views at that time, I just didn't think it was fair to promote a company that didn't want to help support something really cool that I was doing. So we parted ways, and sadly, the money for the boat didn't even go into this boat. I gave it straight to the fiance for our wedding that is coming in 2 months. So that's what happened with that. Now that that's out of the way, let's get back into the Stratos. If you guys are new here, I've spent the past couple of months teaming up with Tiny Boat Nation to create one of the coolest bass boat builds here on YouTube. Tiny Boat Nation hooked it up with the custom sea deck. They fabricated me all custom powder coated aluminum lids. They did a whole bunch of other stuff like the custom graph mounts up front, the recessed foot pedal. But if you guys want to check out that content, make sure you check out the other videos. We're hopping right back into it. As you guys can tell, this boat is not finished. Everybody's been wondering what took me so long to get videos out. The truth is, guys, building these boats costs a lot of money. And just because I do YouTube doesn't mean I am rich. Unfortunately, I'm at that point in my YouTube career where sometimes I make money and most of the time I don't. So I'm sorry for the wait on all this, but I got a lot of cool new stuff for this boat that you guys need to check out. So let's get right into it. Things we have to get done. We have to figure out a way to fix this windshield. I don't feel like buying a $160 windshield online. Then we have the steering wheel column. I know nothing about power steering systems. I have no idea how to put it back together. So we're about to start there, but I want to show you guys a little sneak peek at the new steering wheel that we ended up going with. Instead of running the OEM one, I thought it'd be fun to get something different. So I thought this thing was pretty cool. I'll be honest with you guys, I got it on Amazon, but for $100, it's pretty legit looking. So we're gonna install that at some point here today. We need a custom dashboard. I didn't want to go with the gauges, so we're gonna be implementing a tablet into our dashboard that's gonna run all of our gauges digitally. We also have some Garmin products over here, folks. A lot of you guys been asking what I'm gonna run on the front of the boat. So just recently on Facebook, from an awesome gentleman who gave me a great deal, we got a 93 SV. We got the new GT56 UHD transducer for the rear, a Garmin GMS 10, because I'm trying to convince my fiance to order me a 106 SV for the front for live scope. But with that being said, let's hop over to the steering wheel column and see if we can figure out how to reinstall this power steering system. I'm probably gonna throw this on a time lapse because I am not an expert with power steering systems. I'm gonna put this thing back together to the best of my ability, but I don't wanna give anybody advice because if this goes wrong, that's gonna be a really dangerous situation. So let's see if we can get this thing installed, and I'll show you guys what I did after. Okay, so it's actually the next day. It actually wasn't bad at all. I probably could have showed you guys what I did. We have the steering column back on. We have to reroute the power steering fluid. And I also wired in this trim switch for the motor in the back. So when I touch this, I can now trim while I'm playing. Now, we have to get the new steering wheel on. This steering wheel is connected to a hub. You have to remove it, but for some reason, there are always these super cheap aluminum Allen key screws. So I was able to get 3 out. The other 3 are stripped, so that leaves me no choice but to drill them out. So we're gonna attempt to drill them out and use this guy temporarily until we order the new one. All right, I'll admit it to you guys, that was a complete, utter failure. We're buying another one. We're gonna take a break from that steering wheel nonsense and get these straps replaced. These things are old and weathered, and honestly guys, this is a perfect way for me to tell you guys about today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you guys by Strapino. And if you guys are like me and you love doing all things outdoors, you'll find yourself using ratchet straps a ton. Strapino was nice enough to send me these new marine straps. I couldn't be any more excited to be adding these to the boat. If you guys have never heard of Strapino before, they are a ratchet strap company that makes awesome retractable ratchet straps. These guys are gonna be a game changer. We're gonna remove those crusty old straps and replace them with these fresh new ones that retract. You're probably gonna wanna pick some of these up yourself. They go on super easy. They come with all the hardware. These straps are as simple as clicking a button, retracting, letting go, it locks in place, and when it's on there, you just crank them back in. If you guys know me, I do not recommend products that I do not use myself. They sent me blue, they sent me black. Let's install some of these bad boys. So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of these. I'm gonna show you guys how easy it is to install these straps. The box is gonna come with 2 straps and even some hardware. Super simple. All you do is take the hardware that they give you, line it up with that hole, and then from here I'm just gonna take my tools and get them tightened down. It's as simple as clicking the white tab down, pulling your hook where it needs to go, and then tightening it up. Just like that, you're ready to hit the road. If you guys are interested in those straps, go ahead and hit the link in the description below, and you can even use this code to save a little bit of money at checkout. Huge shout out for Strapino for supporting me here on the channel. Now, let's get back to the dashboard. So I didn't know what I wanted to do with the dashboard. I knew that I wanted to do some kind of digital dash with the Mercury Vessel View. And the plan was to take this cheap tablet, fabricate it into the dash like so, and then run a graph off the side like this. Well, that completely changed because the graph costs more money than the tablet, and if anything was gonna go overboard, I'd rather it be the tablet. I called Nate from TB Nation, and he ended up sending me some parts to be able to mount the graph directly to my dash. So, we're gonna put a 9-inch graph in the dead center of the dash, and then for the speedometers, we're actually going to use an iPad, and that thing was only $100 certified refurbished on Amazon. So we're saving money, getting a bigger screen, and everybody's happy. So now we're fabricating mounts so that we can mount the iPad to the side of the boat. So if you want to do this same thing, pay attention. I'm gonna run all my gauges through the Mercury Vessel View, and all that is going to Bluetooth to this iPad. Now I got this iPad for $100 off Amazon. As long as you have the A10 chip or higher in the iPad, you can run Vessel View. You got to make sure your stuff updates enough to run the software. So this black case that I'm holding is actually an anti-theft iPad case. So when you guys go to like a Walmart or an Apple store and you play with the displays, these are the cases that prevent people from stealing the iPad. So I had some leftover pieces of aluminum, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fabricate this plate to fit this plate so that there's extra holes to fit this plate. We're gonna see how this goes. I'm super excited because my dash is gonna look legit. So the plan is to take this RAM mount it right here on the boat, since that's about all the space that I got, so that when the iPad's mounted, the screen should sit like right about here. I totally didn't click record when screwing that on. All right, so this isn't going exactly how I planned it to go, but I'm content, it'll work. Low key, this is actually kind of mint. I might be one of the only people that'll have a 10-inch iPad hanging off the side of their boat. Check it out. Boom. So there will be a 93 SV right here and an iPad right here. If I want to run, I just go like this. Boom, I want to play some music. I can do that. This is sick. Definitely one of my more favorite things that I've done to the boats. But with that being said, I have exciting news. We got a package. Stainless steel hub for our new steering wheel. This was like 70 bucks, I think I paid for it, but I really wanted stainless steel, so time to get a new steering wheel on. Look at that! We have a steering wheel. I'm not gonna lie, getting those bolts in were really really tough. The threads are kind of weird with those things. It's like they're meant to go in one time and that's it. It's really hard to get them in or out without stripping them. Let me know what you guys think about the steering wheel. I'm actually really hyped about it. It's just different. It's kind of got like the bubbly look to it, but it is kind of weird shaped, I'm not gonna lie. All right, packages. Amazon just arrived. Check this out. This will be super helpful for any of you guys that want to do the same thing that I'm doing. I found these C-Choice panel covers. So these guys are really sweet. And they're just a plastic cap to cover that hole where your gauge was. Just take it and they click right in. How dope is that? I'll happily pay $6 to just do this. Boom. And then we got another package in the mail from my boys over at Tiny Boat Nation. Anytime that I have an issue, I pick up my phone and I FaceTime Nate. Nate is literally my lifesaver when it comes to anything that needs fabricated. So I have this 93 SV that needs mounted in my dash, but I didn't have anything to properly mount it at the angle that I wanted. So I called him, asked him for an idea, and he's like, hey bro, I got these mounts. I'll ship one out to you right now. And here we are 3 days later. We have a mount ready to rock. So shout out Nate, but of course it's never just plug and play. I gotta fabricate a way for this to structurally sit in the dashboard, and that's gonna be tough. So let me show you guys what we're gonna have to do for that. So the goal is for the 93 SV to sit in the dash just like this, but down here is the real issue. This is a dash panel that we custom made. You guys will see that this is not attached to anything. And if you look inside there, it is completely hollow. And the surrounding structure right here is just thin, flexible plastic. What we're gonna try to do is mount something on the inside of this fiberglass, then screw in that dash panel, and then screw in the graph. So right here is hopefully my solution. You guys will notice I have several different pieces of aluminum angle. And so what I did was I drilled holes for screws and attached them so that they could move from like a right angle down to whatever I want. The reason that I did this was because there is a pitch to the dashboard itself. So we're gonna find the angle, we're gonna tighten it, and then we're gonna bolt the graph in the dash into this piece, and then we're gonna bolt the physical bracket down into the fiberglass, and then essentially we're just gonna box this in so that it's a full structured piece. We have a frame in, not too shabby. And now for the hard part. We gotta get this faceplate mounted, and the tricky part here is this goes like this, but for me to get all the bolts through, my only option is to go through this hole on the inside. So let's see how long this takes me. We are officially done. Boom. That sucker ain't going anywhere. It's just missing a few screws. I gotta order some more screws because Nate, you didn't send me enough screws for the bracket. I still love you though. Besides needing a few screws, this thing is completely solid. That thing's not going anywhere. And there's really only one thing left to do. And that's see how the 93 SV fits. Big moment. I think it's a perfect fit. Really cool. It's really starting to come together. It's really starting to get real. But I'm also realizing a few things. I totally forgot to put the trim piece back on when putting the steering wheel back on.
No, God, please, no!
So one thing you guys are gonna notice here is we have a new dash panel. This was crazy how I got here, and I did film it, just not in depth, so let me get you up to speed. I'm actually pretty proud of myself here because the original dash that came with the boat was irreplaceable. The way that it was shaped was literally not possible to recreate. Along with that, it was already broken from when I bought it, and I couldn't get any new switches in it. I also couldn't find anybody selling one online, so I had no choice but to figure out something to do. Quickly, I hopped on Amazon, looked for some options, and I found this vertical switch panel. The best thing that I could come up with was to pull the panel out, cut the old switches out so that I could perfectly fit this vertical panel in there. From there, I grabbed some textured spray paint, spray painted it as best I could to match the rest of the boat. I took the panel, I used a Dremel to cut out the old switches to make just a giant rectangular hole, and I dropped that switch panel in there, and it actually came out really, really good. So I got everything wired up, brand new. But since you guys are gonna see it in the rest of the video, I just wanted to cover that real quick. And if anybody else is in the same situation, that was a good way to go about it. Just when you think you're done buying stuff, you're not even close to being done buying stuff. We completely had a 180 on plans for this thing, so I'll show you guys what we're doing now. Since I didn't have a grand to spend on another graph, in this box right here was my next best option. I went online to Cabela's because I had a couple gift cards, and they were running a discontinuation sale on the Garmin 74 SVs. Not exactly what I wanted, but I got this sucker for just shy of 300 bucks. So 250 and some change after my gift cards. I felt this was the best temporary option for the dash. So we're gonna go ahead, install the 74 SV, and when I get the new and improved one, I can move this over to a John boat or something, I guess. Garmin is in. It's not the big fancy screen all the pros got, but it is a screen. So check it out. We're ready to rock. My custom switch panel down here. I turned that one on. Bada bing, bada boom. It's a 7-inch graph on the front. It'll give me what I needed to do. Mainly, I just wanted to be able to see how deep the water is. I do have an upgraded transducer hooked up to this, so I am curious to see how it's gonna work. It was originally for the 93, but it's compatible with the 7-inch as well. So we'll have side imaging, down imaging, and just about everything we need at the dash right here. We got the iPad to run all my gauges. We're gonna be hooking up the Vessel View very soon. We got the 93 up front that's gonna have live scope. And one day when I'm rich, maybe I'll get a bigger screen, but I think this will do. For the price that I paid, I can't complain. So now we need to just button everything up. We gotta get a trolling motor up front. We have to get the dashboard completely finished, including this guy right here. This is gonna be the next thing. This is a tiny little horn. Unfortunately, the horn did not work with the steering column. I can't get the wires through it properly. So I got this off Amazon for like 8 bucks, and I wired it directly into the OE horn, and we got ourselves a horn. So I think I'm gonna put the horn right either next to the ignition or above it. Ideally, I'd like to put it like right here because I feel like that makes the most sense. It's visible and it's right by the ignition. I don't really like it over here. This looks like a perfect spot, but accessing the wires and tightening it down with the bolt through here is gonna be very tough, but I think we're just gonna go for the good old send. Should I have done this before I took off the steering wheel? Probably, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So I'm able to get the horn in, the drill bit and everything fits solid. I'll be able to seal that. But the problem is there's like an air barrier. So here is the plastic dash, then there's airspace, and then back here's the fiberglass. So I had to drill a hole through there and then through the fiberglass again. People will probably disagree with me on this, but what I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably just gonna clip off the 2 power wires for the horn and then just directly solder them to the switch itself. All the wiring guys in the comment section are gonna lose their mind over this one. There's probably better ways to do this, but it's a horn at the end of the day, guys. As long as it works, I don't exactly care. It's not gonna burn down my boat. So I believe green is gonna be the outside, yellow is gonna be the middle. I'm gonna run this through here like so. I'm gonna twist it in there real good like that. Look at that. Who needs a solder? And then we're gonna take a heat shrink. We're gonna put it right over top like that. And just give it a good old send. If this doesn't work, then you guys can roast me in the comment section, but I feel like it's gonna work. All right, well, haters gonna hate in the comment section, but all right, so that was a pain in the butt, but we got a perfect fit. Check that out. It wasn't exactly the correct way to install it, but I think it's pretty cool and functional. So put the power on, somebody cuts me off, we're good to go. So if you guys are like me and you like to bump while you fish, I bought a little amplifier on Amazon for 80 bucks. This thing streams video, Bluetooth, you name it, and it's a direct amplifier right to your speakers. So, a while back, West Marine sent me these speakers. That was like literally a year ago, and then I just never heard back from them. So shout out West Marine for, or whoever it was that sent me these speakers. That's probably gonna be in the next video, but what we are gonna do right now is figure out a way to add this to the dashboard just like we did the horn. Guys, this bass boat's pretty rigged up for some hillbilly in Ohio. So the goal is to get this thing fitted right in here. Since we got the hole saws out, I think we're gonna go ahead and drill 2 more. We need one in the front here to run our wires for all our transducers and our power up front. And then we're going to need to put one in the actual dashboard so that we can get all those wires hidden. Obviously, this hanging out right here doesn't make much sense. So we're gonna grab a 1-inch hole saw. We're gonna drill holes for that. And then I bought a bunch of little grommets and clamshells to hide all that wiring as well, keep it waterproof. So, voila. So here's a little rubber grommet. Your cords go through there. If I did that right, that guy should just squeeze right in there. Boom. And then the goal is to stick this guy right over top, like so. Though I kind of screwed that up big time. Maybe we'll have to go sideways. It's all right, we'll figure that out. All right, we are officially done in the dashboard. Everything that I wanted to do to this boat, I've officially done. It looks amazing. I can't believe I did everything by myself, from the switch panels to the graph mounts to the iPad mount to me finding a random head unit on Amazon that happens to work out perfectly, the steering wheel, the power steering. It looks great. It came out exactly how I pretty much envisioned it, minus the graph being smaller than what I wanted. But hey, you gotta budget somewhere. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now that we're getting back into things, in the next couple of videos, we're gonna be heading up in the front where we're gonna install the LED lights, the live scope, the trolling motor that I'm gonna be running. Then you guys will notice I still need somewhere to sit. So we're gonna be working on the seats as well. And then we're gonna end things off by maintaining the motor. I bought a new oil pump. If you guys remember, we were having some issues with that motor and it's really never been in the water since the day that I bought it. So hopefully within the next 2 videos, we can get this thing on the water for the official test drive. I'm super excited. I hope you guys are too. I'm sorry for the lack of content. When you're like me, honestly, like finances and things like that just gotta come first. I love making videos for you guys, but I need you guys and your support to be able to do this full time so that I can bring you guys more content. I promise it's not my intention to leave you guys hanging on these boat builds. So we're gonna go ahead and leave this here. I'll see you guys in a couple of days when we're working on the front of the boat. Leave me a comment down below. Peace.